Looking at the Markets with David Modell. Hello and welcome to Looking at the Markets with David Modell. I've got an expert guest today, just a wealth of knowledge in the commodities space. I am so excited about commodities. Man, it has not been easy for gold investors. Since 2011, there have been some tough years in there, but I believe that a huge turning point, a pivot, is underway. Today, we've got gold well above $1,500 an ounce. Not that long ago, it was 13 something an ounce. This is the beginning of a bull market, I believe, and it's time to talk about it and talk about how we can make some money. How can we maximize our profits? And so I've got a definite expert today, Mr. Max Porterfield, President and CEO of Callinex Mines. Mr. Porterfield, welcome to Looking at the Markets, sir.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So the fourth quarter of 2019 was fantastic for commodities, but specifically for gold. And we're seeing it hold key levels here. I believe that this is the beginning of the big turnaround. We're talking secular multi-year timeline. Is this realistic?
Yeah, I definitely think for the gold and the precious metal space in particular, it is realistic, and that'll also be driving the base metal space as well moving forward. I think the base metal story is more of a supply side story coupled with global growth in the foreseeable future. So most definitely, I think we're at a turning point for the metals. Overall, I mean, if you look at gold in particular, it is about 50% off where it based out at the bottom of the kind of the last bear market here. We're around $1,000 an ounce for a while there, and I think it's had a healthy move. I don't think it's been too quickly, and it has been underpinned by obviously negative real interest rates globally, as well as the geopolitical factors, whether it be the U.S.-Chinese trade war, the issues with North Korea, or more recently the kind of military conflict between the U.S. and Iran. So most definitely, I do see a bright future for the metal space.
Yeah, this is so huge for commodities. And you know what else is going to be huge, in my estimation, is the U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar had a very unusual bull market for a while, but now it is turning around to the downside. You've got the death cross happening right now. It just started in the U.S. dollar, meaning that the 50-day moving average crossed below the 200-day moving average in the U.S. dollar. So how is the gradual decline in the dollar's relative value going to benefit gold and miners as well?
Well, gold, as well as all commodities, are priced in U.S. dollars, so a weaker dollar is going to be bullish for commodity prices. And if you look at Callinex, for example, we're an exploration company. Over 75% of capital raised for exploration goes to gold exploration. So healthy gold prices are going to be great for the exploration business. They often say, all ships rise in a rising tide. So again, strong precious metals is going to be a key driver for metals overall, particularly for the exploration business, which we're focusing on. So it's a tremendous opportunity moving forward, irrespective of kind of the other headwinds that you're kind of looking out further into the future for.
Absolutely. And one huge opportunity I wanted to talk about is Callinex Mines. And in case people don't know about it, they can learn more at callinex.ca. Ticker symbol on the TSXV exchange is CNX. And on the American OTC exchange, it is CLLXF. Want to talk about the company. Callinex Mines has been around for years. In terms of market cap, we're talking still a small company, only around $4.3 million Canadian in market cap. $2.6 million Canadian is in cash. So the enterprise value is only $1.7 million Canadian. So in other words, your portfolio of assets that are base metal centered with a key component of precious metals in them, along with intangibles, with your expertise level and your rapport with shareholders and institutions, I believe this is not properly justifiably so low in price and in market cap. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. We have actually more recently performed quite strongly. So, in terms of market capitalization, roughly around a $9 million market cap today. But again, relative to our historical trading pattern, last time we talked, for example, just about maybe a year and a half ago, it was we were trading around a $35 million valuation at that time. So we have come down rather dramatically. That was spurred on by the U.S. Chinese trade war that kind of underwent and really kind of took the wind out of the base metal space, particularly in the zinc space, which we were known to have large exposure to the zinc space with our Nash Creek deposit in New Brunswick. So with that being said, where we were in tandem to where we were trading and where we are trading now, it's been a tremendous buying opportunity over the past year. I've been a big buyer myself of the company. Now own personally, just under 4%. And again, oftentimes, geopolitical factors and government policy out there is a precursor and has big impacts on our business. And that had a big impact for us in any name that was, had exposure to the base metal space when the U.S.-Chinese trade war commenced. Now, fast forward in time, that really hasn't shown us slow things down so much. And, the kind of cause and concern for the impact on global growth is easing as they're kind of going through round one of, kind of coming to terms and a resolution to that trade dispute, which I think longer term will be beneficial for Callinex. And then that coupled with our focus on exploration and really some key mining camps and mining jurisdictions within Canada that are in close proximity to infrastructure that are in absolute need of a new discovery, particularly in the Flin Flon camp of Manitoba, but also where you have very high unemployment rates right now in the Bathurst camp of New Brunswick, creates a compelling opportunity for myself and the shareholders and prospective investors out there looking for opportunities.
Yeah, and what I like about Callinex Mines is that your projects are particularly de-risked. That's important to me. Yes, I'm looking for gains and growth, but I also want to stay cautious with my investments, and I always recommend that to my listeners and viewers. So how is Callinex's projects, and just generally, how are you de-risked in particular?
Well, I mean, the valuation of the company, we've got a tremendous amount of assets. In particular, we've got a PEA stage projects in both Nash Creek and Superjack in the Bathurst camp of New Brunswick. Again, Nash Creek's a very unique resource, and it's a flat line near surface zinc lead silver deposit that'd be amenable to an open pit operation, which is about 1/3 the mining cost of an underground operation. And more importantly, what makes it very unique is that it just lies just off a provincial highway and about 25 kilometers away from a power station, a rail line to zinc smelting operations in Quebec, as well as a deep water port. And those are tremendous, value adds for a deposit where a lot of these deposits out there, a lot of these exploration projects that are actively being explored are very remote and very difficult and challenging to get to. And that all leads to higher upfront capital costs that can really kind of handicap or really make a project very challenging to move forward. And so right now, again, at Nash Creek, which is in the town of Lorne, you've got over a 20% unemployment rate. In the town of Belledune, which I mentioned where that infrastructure is, you've got over 20% unemployment rate. And there's actually a lead smelter there that more recently, about a month and a half ago, was going to be shuttered, which accounted for over 80% of the jobs in Belledune. So it makes it even more critical for us to have success through the drill bit and exploring to grow the resource base at Nash Creek, which we have currently underway. And as well as if you look in Flin Flon in northern Manitoba, that's an area that's got over 95 years of continuous production and 32 mines. But unfortunately, there is the current flagship mine, the 777 mine, that's operated by Hudbay in the town of Flin Flon, has been slated to shut down in April 2022. And there is no feed or new mine kind of waiting to go into production to fill that void. So again, that puts in jeopardy the long and rich history of mining, but more importantly, what's going to happen in the community of Flin Flon. So our technical team, again, has been associated with the discovery of 3 of the 4 largest mines in that area's history. We've got a consolidated land package that's advanced permitting, and we're taking a new approach for exploration that hasn't been done in the camp historically. And again, thinking different to have a different outcome, make a discovery at a time when that community is in deep need. And really, we're aligning our shareholders' interests with the interests of local communities that we're exploring in. And I think that's a recipe for success moving forward. as we drill out our targets that we've identified over the past year, as well as we have exposure to gold prices as well, and in a project called Point Leamington, which is located in the Buckens camp of Newfoundland. That's a historical, sizable zinc, gold, copper, as well as lead resource that we're generating drill targets in proximity to that to drill tests later in this year. So 2020 is going to be a very aggressive year. I think it's also going to be underpinned by strong macro factors that are going to be driving metal prices higher, which is always going to be great for our sector. And so very, very excited about what's to come in the new year.
Yeah, I'm excited about it as well. And if you believe in metals in 2020, which I certainly do, I've made so many videos recommending that people seriously consider gold, copper as well. If you want a really pure metals play, Callinex Mines is the way to go. And I hate to get personal on you, but I do want to, I like to know that that the insiders, the corporate insiders, actually own shares of their own company. That is what I call a vote of confidence. People talking the talk and not just talking. They're actually walking the walk. So not to get personal, but do you own shares of this company?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've always been a shareholder of the company, and then after the equity valuation had a tremendous kind of hit to it with the U.S.-Chinese trade war in 2018. Really, last year, 2019, was a huge buying opportunity. I was been an aggressive buyer in the open market. I also participated in the recent financing that we did to recapitalize the company, to drill out the targets across the portfolio that we have ongoing right now. And so it's a big opportunity. Family's also been a big supporter and invested in what we're and believe in what we're doing, as well as the rest of our team. So it's not often do the overall value of the company hasn't changed in terms of its prospects, but factors that have nothing to do with the company or the decisions the company's made have such a dramatic impact on the valuation. And it was a tremendous buying opportunity. And I like to put my money where my mouth is, and I do believe in the projects, I believe in the assets, and believe what we're doing moving forward. And so today I run just under 4% of the company myself. I didn't mention that a moment ago. So absolutely very excited about what's to come.
Yeah, that is a huge benefit, just a de-risked company. You've got the CEO owning shares, so he believes in it. This is huge. I know that you're passionate about Callinex Mines. Again, people, if they want to get involved, they need to go to callinex.ca. I'll put a link in the description below this video. And also look at the ticker symbols for yourself. Do your own research. Check the charts on the TSXV Canadian Exchange, ticker symbol CNX. In America, on the OTC market, CLLXF. Whatever your broker is, you can probably get this one. And if people want more information, if they want to learn about Callinex, besides doing their own due diligence, how can they get more information? How can they learn about this exciting company?
They can visit our website at callinex.ca. Again, you mentioned that, and I know you're going to post that link. And then also we have our contact details there, so you can feel free to give us a call or send us an email. Either myself or one of my colleagues would be happy to discuss our operations and our outlook and what we're up to.
Yeah, and I do want people to get more information. That's one of the great things about the fact that I get to speak to CEOs of the best companies in the commodities space. I've called you guys up a number of times, and just a great staff, a great group of people, a great board, by the way, the best in the business. And I don't invest in just anybody, and I don't recommend just anybody, but I'm really liking Callinex Mines, especially at the current price point. I see it going up from here. No guarantees, but this is huge. So thank you for your outlook on gold, on miners, and on Callinex Mines. Mr. Max Porterfield, we're going to have you back here sometime soon, but thank you for coming on Looking at the Markets.
I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me.